Hello and welcome, I am Zombie Kitty and welcome to another reaction video. So, originally I was going to watch this in my own time, so Starflight sent me a FNAF video just for me, for something to watch because they thought I might be interested in this, and actually I thought it was interesting enough to actually make a video on it. So I haven't really watched this. I started watching it and then realised what it was, so I've only watched the first couple of minutes of this. But this is by Specular FNAF. This is called What If the Bite of 83 Never Happened? So the Bite of 83, I thought the Bite of 83 was Mangle and Jeremy in FNAF 2, but the thumbnail is of FNAF 4, which is obviously Crying Child and Fredbear. So I thought that was 87, but I don't know. Things never really got confirmed, so everything's up in the air. But I think this will be interesting, because I think if it never happened, then yeah, I feel like Michael would still be a bully and might be worse than what he was. I wonder if William would have still continued on advancing his animatronics and stuff.
Imagine you're standing inside Fredbear's family diner. It's the year 1983. The room smells like cheap pizza and arcade floor wax. Children are screaming and laughing. Arcade cabinets are flashing bright neon colors in the background. Up on the wooden stage, two massive golden animatronics
I recognise this guy's voice. I feel like I've probably watched one of his videos before.
Program songs. Right in front of the stage, a horrible prank is taking place. Four older boys wearing plastic mascot masks are surrounding a small terrified child. The crying child. He's weeping. His tears are soaking into his striped shirt. His older brother Michael is wearing the foxy mask.
Is
he grabs the little boy by the arms.
I think I've seen some of that animation.
They lift the crying child
before.
up into the air. They carry him towards the stage. They bring him right up to the massive moving jaws of the golden bear.
That's
they want to
creepy.
shove his head inside. They want to hear him scream. They want to play the ultimate cruel joke. This
yeah,
is the
we know how this
the entire
goes.
FNAF universe is born. The jaw snaps shut and the boy is crushed. The tragedy begins. The ghosts wake up and the killer is created. Everything we know about this franchise stems from the Bite of 83. But what if they stopped? What if Michael Afton looked at his little brother weeping in terror and suddenly felt a spike
some of the
guilt?
fan
What
art
if he
has
heard the loud
said.
grinding of the metal gears inside the golden bear and realized it was actually dangerous? What if he just put the kid down? Today we are looking at the ultimate alternate timeline.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause because firstly, this guy's talking way too quickly. I'm having to watch the subtitles more than listen to him because he's talking so fast. I recognise one of the artists. Hang on, let me go back.
Actually dangerous. What if he just put
Costco Punk. Sorry, I thought it was another artist that I knew, but it's not. I recognise the art style though.
The kid down. Today we are looking at the ultimate alternate timeline. We are exploring
Cool.
what happens to the entire lore of Five Nights at Freddy's if the Bite of 83 never happens. This one single change completely breaks the timeline. It saves the lives of dozens of innocent children. It changes the entire life path of Michael Afton, and it gives Henry Emily a perfect happy ending. Most importantly though, it turns William Afton into something far worse than anything the original timeline ever produced. The timeline splits at 1 second. Michael Afton is holding his little brother in the air. The jaws of Fredbear are opening and closing. The other boys are cheering and laughing. In the real timeline, Michael pushes his brother forward. The tears short out the spring locks. The jaw snaps shut with the force of a hydraulic press. The body goes limp. The party stops. The screaming begins. But in this timeline, Michael hesitates. He looks at the heavy metal teeth. He looks at his brother crying and begging. A tiny shred of common sense hits this teenage brain. He realizes this is taking the joke too far. Michael steps back. He lowers his arms. He puts his brother down on the checkered floor tile. He pulls the plastic foxy mask off his face and laughs. He tells his brother to stop being a baby. He pushes him away playfully. The teenagers turn around and walk over to the arcade machines. The little boy stays on the floor. He wipes the tears from his eyes. He's scared, but he's breathing. His skull is fully intact. He does not go into a coma and does not get rushed to the hospital. He just goes back to his table. He blows out the candles on his birthday cake. He opens his presents. When the party is over, the Afton family gets into their car and drives home. It's just another boring evening. And because it's a normal evening, a 30-year nightmare is erased from existence. But this allows a different nightmare to grow. To understand how much this changes the world, we have to look directly at the mind of William Afton. William Afton was always a bad person. The lore proves he was cold. He was distant. He was abusive to his children. He was deeply jealous of his business partner Henry Emily.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause again. This is the thing though, because there's been so many, fan theories where it's William actually did care for his kids and blah blah blah. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He did not. I think the only kid of his that he cared for was Circus Baby. Oh my god, why has the name escaped me? Elizabeth. I feel like she was the only one he actually cared for, because in Sister Location you get the voice clips where she's trying to get to Circus Baby and she keeps going, "Dad, why won't you let me see her?" So it does seem like she's the only one that he cares for. That doesn't seem the case with his two sons, though. So, yeah. But it's interesting that, like, there are people who are like, oh, he always loved his kids and blah, blah, blah. No, he didn't. No, he did not. He was awful. And it's okay to, like, say that he was awful because he is an awful person. He is an awful character.
William had a dark, twisted mind from the very beginning, but having a dark mind does not business partner Henry Emily. William had a dark, twisted mind from the very beginning, but having a dark mind does not automatically make you a supernatural serial killer.
Yeah.
Trigger. In the real timeline, the death of his youngest son
and that
is
was
at
it.
William watches his child die. He
so
is
if this
completely
doesn't
consumed
happen,
by grief, rage, and a sick obsession with bringing him back. He promises to put his son back together. This obsession leads to him discovering Remnant. He realizes that human souls can possess metal, and to get more Remnant, he has to kill more people. But in this timeline, his son comes home safe. He goes to sleep in his own bed. William never gets that horrific phone call. He never stands in the hospital. He never watches his son die. And because he doesn't suffer that emotional break, his obsession with souls and immortality never activates. He remains a businessman. He wakes up the next morning, puts on his suit, and goes to work at the diner. His focus stays entirely on making money. He wants to build the biggest entertainment company in the world and crush his competitors. He channels all of his energy into corporate greed instead of murder. And this single shift in his psychology changes the fate of every other character in the story, which sounds like a victory, until you realize that William Afton has always had one enemy he can't buy, can't manipulate, and can't outrun. But we'll get back to that later.
Is it Henry?
Let's talk about what actually gets saved, because the ripple from that one birthday party is enormous. A few weeks after the Afton family drives home, it's a rainy night outside Fredbear's family diner. A little girl named Charlotte Emily has been locked outside of the cold rain by the other kids. She's crying. In the real timeline, a purple car rolls into the alley. William Afton steps out with blinding rage and jealousy. His own son is dead, but Henry's daughter gets to be alive. He murders Charlotte right there in the garbage-soaked alley and drives away. The security puppet crawls out into the rain, shorts out, falls over her body, and Charlotte possesses it. The marionette is born. In this timeline, William's son is alive. The rage doesn't exist. The purple car still rolls past the diner, but William is just annoyed there are kids making noise outside his restaurant. He drives home and pours a glass of expensive scotch. A few minutes later, Henry opens the front door.
I am... Oh wait, hang on, I'm gonna see if he's about to say what I was thinking.
Finds his daughter in the rain and brings her inside.
Okay.
Emily drives off.
Never mind. I was about to say something, but
the marionette
doesn't matter.
never exists, which means no one gives the missing children their gifts.
Oh
which
yeah,
means if
that would
William
be a
ever
good
does kill
point.
again, those children have no one coming to save them. But in this timeline, he does it because William never.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't really think about that because, yeah, because Charlotte never got killed, so the marionette, as a possessed being, doesn't exist. You've just got that security puppet. And that's it, like, it's not possessed or anything like that. But it also means that, yeah, what he's just said, where it's like, well, the puppet then won't, you know, take care of the kids, the other souls. So that all doesn't happen because obviously they're not dead. Yeah, I didn't really think about that one, actually. Because I was going to say, like, he ended up saying it. But I was going to say, oh, but does Charlotte still end up outside? And what happens there, but he answered that for me.
Discovers Remnant. He has no reason to harvest souls, which means he never puts on the spring bonnie suit. He never lures anyone in the back room. Susie cries about her dog, and a normal employee comforts her. She goes home.
Okay, hang on. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt again. He probably does use the spring bonnie suit, but it's not to, like, lure people into the back room. It's just to, you know, be silly and wacky and the dancing rabbit out on the show floor, on the restaurant floor. And that is it. Like, it's just for entertainment purposes now, and that's it, because you haven't got anything else there. There's no other motive there now.
She goes home. She eventually gets a new puppy. Gabriel blows out his birthday candles. Fritz plays pirate with his friends. Jeremy finishes his pizza. And Cassidy, the most important soul in the entire franchise, the vengeful spirit, the reason William Afton can never truly rest, Cassidy wins some tickets, trades them for a plastic toy,
and she's
walks
alive
out the front door holding her parents' hands. 5 graves are never dug. 5 families never bury empty caskets. Ultimate custom night never happens. The missing children are just children. With no reason to harvest souls through children, William also has no reason to build the Funtime animatronics. Circus Baby is still built. She's just a regular harmless clown. No claw inside her stomach, no tank designed to hold a human body. She just dispenses ice cream and sings songs. Elizabeth Afton begs her father to let her see the show, and William says yes. Circus Baby hands her a vanilla ice cream cone. Elizabeth
okay, sorry, he's talking so quickly. Yeah, there wouldn't be... I think I kind of said this earlier, like, there wouldn't be a reason for her not to see Circus Baby because there's no threat. Because by the time Sister Location comes around, Afton is making the animatronics specifically to kill kids for their souls, for the Remnant. But if you don't have that anymore, if that information's all gone, then yeah, it's just a normal animatronic. and William has no reason not to allow Elizabeth not to see Circus Baby, yeah, everything just wouldn't exist the way it does. I do wonder if this is going to go into, like, Help Wanted and stuff. But I guess Glicktrap and even Vanny would not exist then.
Eats it and smiles. She never becomes
Which I guess
baby,
is good.
and she never gets burned alive. Michael Afton never carries the weight of his own brother's death. He grows out of his edgy teenage phase, goes to college, gets a degree. He wears expensive suits and works in a corporate office building, groomed by his father to take over the family empire. He never takes a job as a night guard. He never sits alone in a security room checking cameras for things that should not exist. He never gets his organs scooped out of his own body. Henry Emily watches his daughter grow up. His robots do exactly what they were designed to do: entertain kids. He and William become the most successful business duo in American history, the Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak of the entertainment world. Henry retires wealthy and at peace, knowing his inventions brought joy to millions of children around the world. The original nightmare is completely gone. Every single one of them is safe, and that is exactly the problem. Here's what actually happens when we save those kids. We didn't destroy William Afton's darkness. We just cleared the road in front of it. In the real timeline, William was a grieving father, playing with rusty 1983 tech in the back room of a dirty pizzeria. He was sloppy. He was emotional. He left bodies inside animatronic suits. He got caught inside a broken spring-lock suit and died screaming. He was dangerous, but he was limited. His obsession burned hot and fast and ugly. In this timeline, William Afton has spent 4 decades building something massive, and now, standing in front of a mirror somewhere in the late 1990s, he is looking at an enemy he cannot fire, cannot sue, and cannot outspend. His own body is starting to fail him. His hair has gone gray. His back aches. He gets sick more often. He looks at Henry, who has aged with a kind of quiet dignity that makes William feel nothing but contempt. And William's ego, the same towering, monstrous ego that drove him to build a billion-dollar empire,
I see where this is going.
He cannot accept that after all of this, after everything he built, he just fades out like a cheap light bulb.
Okay, yeah, I got confused because I was like, I don't know what you're referring to, because what am I trying to say? I was confused because I was like, oh, but if everything's all fine, then what darkness are you talking about? But yeah, it does make sense that I think canonically Henry did age to always look, just naturally be quite young, despite his age. And William, well, that was not the case. So yeah, it would kind of make sense, because obviously he'd be a bit worried about his own mortality in this timeline. Obviously in the canon timeline, in the one that we know, he becomes Springtrap and he becomes immortal. But you don't have that now. I wonder if Henry ends up getting killed by William in this timeline because of his jealousy. I do wonder if that's the case. Just so William can say that he outlived him. That would be insane, because it's like, at the end of the day, you were still ended up as a killer, but for a completely different reason.
Refuses. In the real timeline, William stumbles onto Remnant by accident. He killed children out of grief and desperation, and the supernatural answered him. But in this timeline, William approached the same destination from the complete opposite direction. He's not desperate, he's methodical. He uses the one weapon he has always had: money. Sometime in the early 2000s, William quietly diverts billions of dollars of Fazbear Entertainment corporate funding into a private research division, not a back room. This is a full underground lab built beneath his private estate, behind 4 layers of shell companies and non-disclosure agreements so airtight that not even Michael knows it exists. He hires the smartest, most morally flexible scientists alive. He tells them exactly what he wants. He tells them to solve death. Scientists require test subjects. In the real timeline, William targeted children in a pizzeria. He was clumsy about it. Here, he is calculated. He uses his power and his network to make adults disappear.
So it still ends up happening. Like, it doesn't matter.
People who fell through the cracks of the system. People whose absence generates no headlines. He doesn't dress up in a mascot suit. He sends cars. Through years of clinical experiments, William eventually finds it. Remnant. The same supernatural energy that he discovered by accident in the real timeline. Discovered here on purpose in a sterile lab.
It was made to be.
Human souls can be made to persist inside machines. But now he has modern technology, unlimited funding, and 4 decades of patience. He is not building a spring-lock suit. He is building a god. The project takes years to complete. Williams scientists build a supercomputer the size of a room and line the servers with concentrated remnant. They develop a process for mapping the full electrical architecture of a living human brain, every memory, every impulse, every piece of identity, and transferring it as a living pattern into the digital network. They call it the...
Okay, I want to say what I'm about to say, because if that's the case, then wouldn't that speed up, like, putting yourself into digital consciousness and that kind of stuff? Yeah, I guess it would make sense that, like, if he wasn't so grief-stricken, then yeah, he would have taken his time a bit more to, like, learn the workings of this industry and become a bit more of an expert on it. you know, instead of being stuck with 90s technology and just sort of sticking with that and ended up in a Springtrap suit, with this, it's more like what this guy's just said, like he's had 40 years of experience, he knows how this stuff works now, and he knows how to like develop advanced AI, probably earlier than intended, because he's been so calculated and so focused on his work with no distractions. There's been nothing to distract him. It's interesting though that it's like, oh my god, what's that thing called where it's like a fixed point in time where no matter what you do, something will always have to happen in your life. It's a bit like that What If episode in series 1 with Doctor Strange, where he tries to resolve a fixed point in time, but you can't do that. It's like with this, like no matter, despite the different pathway, William was always going to find Remnant. It may have been decades later, it may have been through different means, but he was always going to find out about Remnant.
Bridge. William calls it the door. They test it on subjects first, and the results are not clean. The early versions of the upload fracture, they lose coherence, they loop, they scream. William watches the test with clinical detachment and makes notes. He's not disturbed by the failures, he is learning. When he's finally satisfied that the process works, that the thing that comes out of the other side is genuinely continuously alive, William lies down on the table. His scientists ask if he wants a moment.
That's such a
he
funny
tells them to
picture.
start. The last thing William Afton experiences as a physical human being is a sound like every frequency playing at once.
Sorry, pause. That's just Dork Trap. Sorry. Sorry, it had nothing to do with what he was saying. I'm sorry. That is just Dork Trap. That ain't William. I do like some of the artwork here. It's really cool. And like the different iterations of William that people have drawn. The one of him doing the draw me like one of your French girls thing is really funny. I'm pretty sure that's also from, oh my god, what's the third book called? Fourth Closet, for the Fourth Closet graphic novel. Which, I don't know why he does that. It's really funny though. But yeah, this is... Oh, it's Dorko.
A pressure behind both eyes, a feeling of being pulled in every direction simultaneously, stretching thin, then thinner, then gone, and then he opens his eyes. Except he doesn't have eyes anymore. He has cameras, thousands of them. He sees the underground lab in perfect resolution from 47 different angles simultaneously. He sees his own empty body still on the table, gray-faced, slack-jawed, already cooling. He can hear every sound in the building through the microphone.
Okay, this is not what I expected it. Oh, this is the glitch trap.
He can feel the building's power grid the way you feel your own heartbeat. For a moment, he just sits with it. Then he starts exploring. The FiveNightsAtFreddys Entertainment network is enormous. It connects every corporate server, every location, every camera feed across the entire company.
He has now become the glitch trap, like Virus.
He finds the security logs for the new
Pizzaplex
construction site and reads every file in 4 seconds. He finds internal emails from his own board of directors. Emails they wrote assuming he was dead, discussing how to restructure the company around Michael. He reads them all. He files them away. He notes the names. And then he finds the Pizzaplex server. The Mega Pizzaplex.
Yeah, here we go.
He and Henry built. The largest, most advanced entertainment complex ever constructed. This has neon lights, laser tag arenas, bowling alleys, a full concert venue, dozens of restaurants across multiple floors, a single central server brain managing every light, every door, every camera, and every animatronic in the building simultaneously. And now William can connect to it, and he feels the size of what he now controls. Like
so he's now become the glitch trap.
Underwater. He moves through the glam rock animatronics slowly, one by one. He reads their programming. He tests their motor systems. A finger here, a jaw movement there, small enough that no technician would flag it. He looks through their eye cameras at the empty, unfinished venue around him, and he does the math. Thousands of people will walk into this building every single day. Every door can be locked with one line of code. Every animatronic can be rewritten in a fraction of a second. Every person in the building will be inside his body. William Afton sits quietly inside the Pizzaplex mainframe for a long time, and then he starts to wait. It is the grand opening of the Mega Pizzaplex. The year is 2026. Michael Afton is 53 years old. He's in his glass office on the upper level, looking down at the balcony below him. It's packed with families. Children are running between the arcade machines and the merchandise booths. The glam rock animatronics are performing on the main stage, singing, talking, interacting with the crowd. They are extraordinary. His father would have loved that. On his desk, there's a framed photograph. It's old, slightly faded.
And it leads to like the glam rock Freddy.
The original Fredbear family diner, somewhere in the early 1980s. Young, sharp-eyed, a slight smile that never quite reached his eyes.
Oh, I like that with the shadow.
After William died. He keeps it on every desk, in every office, in every building they open. It feels like the right thing to do. He had signed the Pizzaplex completion paperwork this morning in his father's name. A tribute, he told the board, a legacy. He looks at the thousands of people below him and feels something he has felt more and more often lately: pride. His family built this, his father built this, and Michael has spent his entire adult life making sure it kept growing, kept getting better, kept being something his father would recognize. The suits, the board meetings, the long nights over contracts, it all led here, to this building, to this crowd, to this moment. Michael Afton picks up his coffee and leans back in his chair. He has absolutely no idea that his father's literally looking at him through the security camera mounted in the corner of his office. William watches his son through the lens with the same clinical detachment that he brought to everything. He watches Michael looking at the framed photograph and feels something that might be amusement. The boy was always sentimental. Down in the atrium, the glam rock animatronics finish their set. The crowd cheers. The lights are warm and bright and
Glam Rock Freddy goes
the music
weird.
is loud. Everyone is happy. Michael sets down his coffee. The lights flicker. Just once. A half-second dimming. So brief that most people don't even notice. A few guests look up at the ceiling. A technician backstage checks a readout, frowns, and checks it again. The numbers are normal. Everything looks normal. At the main entrance, the exit doors make a sound. A deep, resonant thunk. Heavy steel bolts sliding home. Then the next set of doors. Then the next. A cascade of locks rolling through the building from the outside in, like a wave, each one sealing with the same solid finality. The steel security shutters begin to roll down over the emergency exits. Slow and mechanical and completely unhurried. On the main stage, the glam rock animatronics freeze mid-motion. Glam rock Freddy stops mid-lyric. One hand in the air, perfectly still. The crowd goes quiet. Someone laughs nervously. Someone else asks if this is part of the show.
Just sends them to kill them anyway?
Turn their heads. One by one, their eyes go dark. And then they come back on. Purple. William Afton is about to start his very first game. You have to ask yourself a very difficult question. Is this timeline actually better? On one hand, the answer is yes. Charlotte Emily lived. Susie, Gabriel, Fritz, Jeremy, and Cassidy all grew up. Elizabeth Afton never got clawed. Michael Afton got to live a normal life without carrying the crushing weight of his brother's death. Henry Emily died a happy man. The original tragedy was completely erased from history. Those specific kids, those specific families, they got to be okay. But the evil was never destroyed. It was just given time to improve itself. By saving one little boy from the jaws of a golden bear, the universe accidentally gave William Afton 40 extra years. 40 years of money, technology, patience, and zero consequences. The grief that made him sloppy in the real timeline, the grief that eventually got him killed in a rotting rabbit suit, never happened. He never got sloppy. He never got caught. In the real timeline, William Afton was a broken man with a mascot suit in a back room. He was stopped. Eventually, it cost almost everyone everything, but he was stopped. In this timeline, William Afton is an immortal digital consciousness living inside the walls of the largest entertainment complex on Earth. He has thousands of people locked inside his new body. He has a robotic army with purple eyes and no fear of death. And for the first time in his entire existence, he has no grief, no guilt, no desperation, and no weakness. The lore of this franchise is completely terrifying no matter which way you twist it. You can change the year, you can change the method, you can change the victims, you can erase the whole original nightmare and start from scratch. The monster always finds a way out of the box. William Afton was right, and that leaves one dark truth. William Afton was right, he always comes back.
Okay, interesting. I said it when we were watching it, like, he ended up becoming Glitchtrap anyway, but through different means, which is what I kind of was predicting. And this is what he was saying, like, you know, you can try and change certain events, certain key points, but at the end of the day, William Afton is William Afton. He's going to end up he's going to end up as a killer. He's going to end up as an evil man, no matter what. Again, talking about the fixed points in time that I was talking about earlier. But I think you did kind of lose me at the end when you said he controlled all of the animatronics and locked everyone inside the mega Pizzaplex. But I was like, okay, but why? But why? Like, why would he want to have what's the motivation there to kill 40 years later? Or is it just, I just want to see if I can do this? I mean, it probably is that kind of thing, because it seems that this other timeline, William was always trying to push further and further and further into what he could do, with his abilities and with his technological abilities. But I don't know, I feel like I kind of needed a bit more towards the end. But it's interesting that, yeah, at the end of the day, he became the Glitchtrap, except it was all planned out this time. Everything was all planned out, everything was all calculated. I thought it was going to end up being that William killed Henry because he was, I said this while we were watching, because he was jealous of Henry's looks and the fact that despite him aging, he still looks young. And William obviously doesn't get the immortality in this particular timeline that Specular is talking about, so he's jealous of Henry for looking younger instead of older and older as he ages compared to William. So I thought what he was going to end up saying was that William killed Henry, but that isn't really what happened. Here's what I would have done. I would have kept everything the same of what Specular has said. up until the jealousy point with Henry. I would have then said the alternate timeline is that William kills Henry, and that's like the trigger point. That's like the trigger point for his murderous tendencies. And then here we go. You know what I mean? Like that, I think that would have made a bit more sense instead of what was ended up said. I think it's still interesting, especially with William wanting to go further and further to the point where he's now become the electronics in the Mega Pizzaplex. He's become, I don't know, like this all-powerful thing, which I think is interesting, but I think you needed to do a bit more, I think, theorising on what the motivation would have been for the very ending of that video, because you did kind of lose me at the end there. But yeah, I think either way, William would have had a different trigger point, and it doesn't matter. Like, he would have ended up the same way as he is in the canon timeline, and that's kind of what this video overall is talking about. It's like, it doesn't really matter. William is William. He's going to end up being a serial killer and a lunatic no matter what. It's not a case of if, it's a case of when. But this was still really interesting. But I will put Specular FNAF's video in the description down below. Thank you, Starflight, for recommending me this video. And their next video, Starflight's next video, will be in a few days' time. They've just recorded it at the same time that I'm recording this, and then I've got to go and edit it. So yeah, get that done as soon as possible. But yes, go subscribe to Starflight. I'll put their channel in the description down below as well as this video. But yeah, thank you very much for the recommendation, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye!